Hello everybody and welcome back to Casualaquatics. Today we are in Kentucky at Newport Aquarium. Now they have a lot of exhibits, walk-through tunnels and stuff like that. When you order your tickets online and or get them here at the gate, there's a couple different places that you can purchase the tickets, and then they have these rows with little timers depending on what time frame you selected to go into the aquarium matters. They're very strenuous on that very thing. So we got about 15 minutes before we are going in. So when you enter the aquarium, you got to go down an escalator to actually get into it. Now, I don't know if they have an alternative route. I didn't ask. I would assume they did for people in wheelchairs or what have you. But as soon as you come off the escalator, to your left and to your right is a Central American display tank. It is very pretty. That Dobai is quite the statement piece. Look at it. A nice little simple community tank with tetras, not too overbearing, open concept with a few pieces of driftwood and a few plants. It looks really good. This African bowl was beautiful. They could have done a lot more with it, had some more pretty males in there, but my guess is that was probably 300 to 500 gallons. The different puffers we see throughout this journey is just downright amazing. They have all kinds and they're all unique in their own way. I wish this lungfish would have came out so we could have seen his full length. My guess is he's probably about 2 to 3 foot. He was a pretty gnarly looking dude nonetheless. This rainbow tank is very pretty. It's goals for my 125 at home. Looks like they got a lot of jungle val in there and some mosses and some kind of crypts. I have some of the Millennium rainbows, which are those deep red ones. That's a really good looking gold compressor set. And a nice looking Sidnodonus there. I gotta say, that's a lot of space for some blind fish and then some crayfish that are pretty much just gonna be on the bottom. But the tank looks good, so I can't complain there. The gouramis are living at large in this tank, again with the scape. Like, I wonder who they pay to do this, or do workers just go in there and play around? Me being in the hobby, I have a passion for it, but maybe some of you that watch this don't keep fish. So I want to know your thoughts on how some of these tanks look. Discus and angels. And those cardinal tetras just set it off. They give it that pop. This display is special in its own right. These are local native fish that you would find in the streams and rivers of Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. You got some minnows, some darters, some sunfish. Couple other cool little dudes, and this is what their environment would really look like too. A bunch of river rock and slate stones. I'm not sure what this guy is, but he's a stunner. When I first saw these dudes, I thought they were bass, but they're actually yellow perch. There's a snake neck turtle under that tree. I didn't capture the best video of him, but he was really cool. So if you go there, you might try to find him. Nice salt display. This little goby was cute. This is that large-scale four eyes. It is an interesting looking fish. I had no idea they existed, and it's got to be freshwater, so I'd really like to look into these guys. So this is the coral play station. This was really cool. You get to interact with them. You can like feel them or pet them, if you will. It's a nice little thing for the kids to engage and learn. And there's a lady sitting here talking about them, giving you information and educating you on them. So that was very interesting. Let alone, they're just pretty to look at. This dog face puffer in the top left corner was cool. He was just like sitting there watching all the other fish, chilling like a villain. I want to call this tank the tidal wave because that's what it is. They have a water effect that simulates waves thrashing about in the ocean, and you'll see that right at the end of this little clip. It was pretty cool, and the fish are pretty. This puffer was so playful. The only way to explain this next aquarium you're about to see is speechless. As soon as you go around this wall in person and you lay your eyes on it, you're like in a trance. I don't care if you're 3 years old or you're 80 years old. You're just stuck looking into it. It is so amazing. I hope you guys enjoy it. First time I ever heard of or seen a shark ray. These dudes were cool. This wolf-eel did not look like he was doing so hot, but what do I know, because this was the first time I ever saw one. They were really cool. If you Google them and see them stretched out, they are neat creatures. But this little cichlid over here was cool looking. This was the seahorse section, a bunch of educational monitors and post up, and of course we get to see some here in a minute. They had these like kelp fish. I can't remember their name, I'm sorry, but I think that's what it was. And then they have like some pipe fish and stuff like that. It was really interesting. This cuttlefish kind of looks like an alien, but he was kind of cool looking, really. These bridge tanks always fascinate me. So the fish can go back and forth in between the zones in that tunnel in the middle. I would like to have something like this at my house. Obviously of that scale, but I could never afford it. These little seahorses were pretty cool. In my opinion, this paddlefish display was more nostalgic, or I guess terrifying, than looking at the sharks. There's just something ominous about looking at these guys swimming back and forth in this big dark blue space. This was one of my favorite exhibits, the shipwreck of eels. That lionfish was huge. He looked good. These guys appeared to be having the time of their life, just wiggling around in the sand. Like, it was very enthusiastic just sitting there watching them. They were pretty cool little dudes. The green moray eel. This guy was amazing. And even though he didn't come completely out and stretch his full length, it was a great sight to see. Maybe when you go on your trip, you'll get to see him full length, and maybe you can come back and tell me in the comments exactly how big he is. But he was amazing. This was the Sunken treasure tank. You can walk kind of inside of it. It's oval. This was way more satisfying than what I thought. This dude was beautiful. Chinese crocodile lizard. I ain't never seen one before today. That was pretty neat looking, actually. Apparently these guys like to lounge around and sleep for hours on end. This neat little guy is called a diamondback turpin turtle. He was really cool. They had him up high and he was kind of hard to see. Thank God for a good camera. Even though this is an aquarium with aquatic life, this reptile selection was a nice addition to the aquarium. It gave you that wow factor. You get to see some albino crocodiles and some tree pythons and different types of lizards and reptiles that you don't see in your normal area. So he doesn't really have 4 eyes, but he has 4 dots on the back of his neck that make it look like he has 4 eyes back there, and it's a defense mechanism. This caiman lizard looks almost prehistoric. So aside from the many wonderful tunnels that they also have these floor viewing panels, and they are really interesting. There's like a 200, 300 pound catfish in here. I don't know for sure, it doesn't say nothing about it, but it is huge. And then they got a giant, what I can only imagine to be an alligator gar in here with some other cool fish, but this catfish is ginormous. Flagfish are amazing. Their colors just stand out. They pop really well. well. There's an octopus in the top right corner of this tank. You don't get to see him too well, but I try. The tank itself was very pretty though, had starfish and corals and anemones. I wish I would have got to see this dude stretch out. I can only imagine how pretty he was and how big he was. But there's always next time. Imagine having this aquarium in your home. You come home from a long, hard day's work. You're tired. You're stressed out. Now you got to make you something to eat real quick. You go ahead and do that. There ain't nothing good on the TV. So you sit down and you just stare into this jellyfish aquarium. It is so mesmerizing, so peaceful, so beautiful to look at. This reticulated whip ray was awesome, along with that black-fin shark. I bet that ray was 2 foot, maybe 2.5 foot across. These ray sharks were like aliens slicing their way through the water. They had to be one of the coolest things I saw at this aquarium. They're so neat. I'm not sure what this guy was, but he was looking pretty cool. So this was a shark petting station. This is the first time ever in my life I've got to pet a shark, because I don't ever go to like a coastal state like Florida or anything like that. It was really cool, and these dudes were real spunky. If you're curious what this feels like, take some sandpaper, stick it underneath the water and pet it. But nonetheless, it was an awesome experience. And this was the Stingray PlayStation. This was awesome. I probably could have spent my whole time here. You get to engage with these guys. You get to go underneath and look up and petting them. It's smooth, it's soft. I don't know how to describe it, but it was really cool. And they seemed eager to let you pet them, so that made it even more interesting. Kids, elders, adults, everybody was enjoying this exhibit. Say hi, Nicole. Meanwhile, keep an array that you do not want to pet in the rhinoceros iguana's water pond. This was a really cool display of all the different types of poison dart frogs. There was some really cool colored ones. They had a random jelly bean blood parrot on display, which I thought was kind of cool that they gave him a tank to himself. I hope it's 30 gallons. And then this ripsaw catfish. It was massive. Loving life. Loving that driftwood and that ray. Well, guys, we finally made it to the final attraction. This is the Shark Bridge. Now, you can either choose to go across this bridge or there's a path to walk around. Of course, we chose to go on the bridge. According to the worker, that shark likes to show off like that at the top of the water to get attention. When you go across this bridge, you will experience some side-to-side motion and uneven footing. Nobody is allowed to be carried, even children. You have to walk across it one by one. And here we go. This was an awesome experience. Even if you're not a fish nerd like me, there is something for everybody here to interact and just be in touch with nature. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you get a chance to maybe come check out this aquarium. I was hesitant for the longest time. I thought it was too far out of my reach, but it turns out it wasn't that far at all, and it was very well worth it. Thank you very much for watching this video. As soon as I exit the bridge here, you will see that you exit into the souvenir shop and you can buy all kinds of goodies. I ended up getting a hat and a shark necklace. As always, everybody, stay casual. If you're still watching at this point, here's a bonus. If you go across the footbridge, across the river, you'll see this mural that is painted on the building. Have a good day, everybody.